Yo! Wow, it's been a minute, but we back. First of all, what the hell is this ad? Anyways, 10 freak accents people survived. And then the description is, can a sneeze really paralyze you? So, hey, I'm curious. Let's get it. Y'all finish it.
Imagine that you're flushing the toilet, but instead of the water splashing, you hear a powerful explosion.
Okay, well, this reminds me of, bro, have you ever seen the clips of, like, snakes crawling up the toilet? Like, have y'all ever, I seen, like, the other day a rat crawled up, like, the toilet. And imagine you're sitting out on the toilet and it, like a
You
snake.
barely have enough time to feel your legs, arms, and face get pierced with pain before you faint.
Wait, how does a toilet
Sadly,
explode?
this is a true story. And it's just one of many that miraculously didn't end in tragedy, which I'll tell you about in this video.
Ooh.
So, viewer discretion is
It's
advised.
advised.
On October 2nd, 2013, Michel Pierre's most pressing issue was the lack of water supply in his NY 16-story building. However, that was only until he decided to check if the water was
Do you guys think these will be recent or, like, more older?
back on. The man pushed the flush button on his toilet, and an explosion ensued that
How can a toilet do that?
very second. Only after regaining consciousness did Michel realize what had happened. His toilet had exploded into countless small, sharp porcelain shards. They sprayed Pierre's entire body, and he had to have 30 stitches, most of them on his face.
What? An exploding toilet? That toilet's so skibbity. Alright. Because that's a skibbity toilet!
Moreover, on that
Get it.
same day, 3 more toilets exploded in the building, but only
Whoa, there's so many skibbity toilets.
Pierre ended up nearby in the moment of collapse. As it
What
turned
the
out,
heck?
there were serious issues with the pipes in Michel's high-rise. During technical service, the pressure rose dramatically, causing the explosion. Apart from that, Michel Pierre sustained psychological trauma and was forced to get used to living with it. That's how strong his fear of the explosion happening again is. His worries are hardly unfounded, since this happens more often than you can imagine. Flushmate Company alone reports over 1,700 explosions of toilets
There's that many toilets that explode? 1,700 a year?
equipped with first and second generation flushing systems. 38 people got
How does a toilet explode?
hurt. Although the company has recalled the dangerous toilets from the market, you'd better check yours. If it was manufactured by this company between 1997 and 2008, you should replace
You just say
it
2008?
just in case. It's a bummer that it's not going to be quite that easy to fix something inside your own body, since even one single innocent sneeze can completely take out your main
Whoa.
support pillar, the spine.
Whoa.
Victoria Kenny
Whoa.
sneezed while watching TV in the evening and found herself unable to move because of unbearable pain
What?
and paralysis. Yet what she heard in the hospital later literally ruined her life. She'd be forever bedbound. That is, if she would survive. As it turned out, during the sneeze, Victoria's back muscles contracted with such force that they tore one of her intervertebral discs. Although the woman was barely 50 years old,
Oh my, that is so unlucky. That is so unlucky. That is so unlucky. Oh my gosh. Make sure to dust y'all house, boys. Make sure to, and girls, make sure to dust y'all house, because bro, that is so unlucky, bro.
old. As if that wasn't enough, Victoria's bones compressed her sciatic nerve, causing partial paralysis and incredible pain. This mostly happens when people pick up things that are way too heavy, but the woman had merely sneezed. She underwent 3 spine surgeries, yet nothing helped. Victoria suffered from constant unbearable pain, and her life turned into a nightmare. She wasn't even able
Bro,
to
that
sit.
sucks.
The strong painkillers the woman was taking caused hallucinations, and she didn't recognize her husband
bro.
and 3 kids. After 2 years of this suffering,
Damn.
Victoria developed depression and even started considering ending it all. Suddenly, hope appeared. The Kenny couple found out about a private clinic that offered surgery that could possibly return Victoria
Come on.
to normal life. The operation was risky and expensive, but it was their only chance. In 4 hours, surgeons inserted a tiny spring between the woman's vertebrae, put a plastic frame around them, and attached a few titanium plates to her bones. When Victoria regained consciousness after the operation, She was utterly confused because the pain was completely gone.
What?
Only a week later, the woman was able to walk again.
That is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. People be making advances and advances in the medical scientific terminology stasis, bro. Like, dude, just look at that. Like, nobody else knew it besides them. Like, you know how crazy that is? That they did it? People thought she wouldn't even be able to live. Meanwhile, they got her back walking. These medical advances are crazy.
Her personal hell that had continued for 2 years remained nothing but a nightmare.
Oh my.
However, it comes back every time Victoria feels an itch in her nose.
Oh,
Terror
hell yeah.
pierces her. and
Oh
she
my gosh. If every time you had to sneeze again, I'd actually. Wow. I'd be so afraid to sneeze.
does everything in her power to avoid sneezing. And yes, this really can happen to any of us. When Victoria Kenny's story made the headlines, some people claimed they'd been in the same situation. So from now on, be careful when sneezing. However, it's impossible to shelter yourself from everything, as you never know where danger may await you. However, a 48-year-old Italian man must have known he was racing death when speeding on his motorcycle. In 2014, it almost caught up with him when the man had a serious crash. He survived, but when the doctors took him to the hospital, it became clear that something was very wrong with him. His pressure fell to a critically low point, but there was no severe bleeding that could have caused this. Moreover, the medics virtually couldn't hear the man's heartbeat, although he was conscious. If zombies or vampires existed,
Whoa.
it could have seemed like the Italian man was turning into the undead. The truth, however, ended up being more realistic, but no less fascinating for the doctors. In the crash, the Italian had broke a few ribs, injured the spleen, and ruptured a lung. The air started coming out of the lung into the chest cavity, causing the heart to turn to the other side. Eventually, the heart had
What? That's possible? Your heart can flip? And I just fast forwarded.
90-degree turn, compressing the vessels. This caused a drop in the Italian's blood pressure. As the heart wasn't in its designated place, the doctors couldn't hear it. The case was so unique that it was written about in scientific journals. Firstly, such injuries are incredibly rare. Secondly, despite critically low blood pressure, the patient didn't go unconscious, even once. Thirdly, the man spent hours with a virtually non-functional heart, yet he survived. Moreover, he fully regained his health. It's unknown if the Italian ever rode his motorcycle again.
What?
But if yes, he now definitely abides
Can I stop
by all
yawning?
traffic regulations.
Quit yawning.
Let's be honest, every one of us breaks a safety rule, or two, sometimes. And everything's mostly fine. Yet the rules are there for a reason, as some people end up paying dearly for their recklessness.
Rules are meant to
One
be.
of them was 16-year-old
Broken.
Yasser Lopez. On June 7th, 2012, he decided to celebrate high school graduation with his friends. However, contrary to the expectation, the teenagers didn't throw a party.
Hey, that dance looks lit. Hey. They're probably playing Mo Bamba. I got
Instead, they went spearfishing in Miami lakes. The boys were having fun.
Wait, you in Miami like partying? The Miami birdies are demon. The Miami birdies are cray cray. Bro, if I was in Miami, I wouldn't be no spearfishing. I'd be looking for the birdies. I ain't gonna lie.
Fun and boasting their catch. Lopez was inspecting the fish they'd caught when suddenly he felt a strong blow and
what?
fell into the water.
Whoa, what?
When he reappeared on the surface, the teenagers went pale with terror.
A spear gun just went through my friend's head. We're in a lake, in First Lake. Please go.
Lopez was standing in the water.
What the hell? Wait, how did that happen? How did it happen? This reminds me of the one thing.
Looking at the metal
Like the-
spear protruding from his forehead.
Bro,
he was
this reminds
confused,
me
but
of-
seemed completely conscious.
Bro.
As it turned out, one of the teenagers took his father's gas underwater firearm. When he was loading the spear into the gun, something went wrong, and the weapon fired. A helicopter took Lopez to the hospital, but the doctors couldn't examine the boy, since the meter-long spear didn't fit inside the medical equipment.
Wow.
So the medics secured Yasser's head
They need new medical equipment for things like this.
and started sawing the spear off with a mechanical cutter.
Oh
A
my
single
gosh.
wide move.
Imagine being conscious for this. That's what happened to one person. was like he was working like a train set. I forgot his name. This was a while ago. Then it like proved something about psychology. That's knowledge.
Could have killed Lopez. He was conscious that whole time. However, as it turned out,
That's him.
he'd been born under a lucky star. The spear entered the boy's head 2.5 centimeters above the right eye and passed through the brain, pushing against the occipital bone. Yet a few lucky coincidences allowed the boy to stay alive. Firstly, the spear entered the right hemisphere, which is considered less dominant and has fewer blood vessels.
I'm on 7. Why am I on 720p? My fault, y'all.
Secondly, the spear's angle allowed it to miss the critically important
That's
vessel
crazy.
clumps. Yet this didn't mean anything, as the spear was yet to be pulled out. No one knew what
How do
was
you
gonna
pull
happen
that
to
out?
Lopez then. The complex surgery on the teenager's brain lasted for 3 hours. He survived, but didn't remember anything and could neither walk nor talk. His life
You can't walk or talk anymore? Damn.
seemed to be over. However, Lopez started rehabilitation and was back to
He's walking.
normal surprisingly fast and in time.
And he's talking. Oh my.
He had a full recovery.
W.
Yet now Yasser Lopez isn't fond of underwater fishing
W.
anymore and takes his safety more seriously. On the other hand, Matthew Brealey, from a suburb of Chesterfield in England, always followed all the rules when mounting his powerful motorcycle. That one day in 2010 wasn't an exception. Brealey was going at a designated speed of around 80 kilometers per hour on an empty country road when an unexpected dot appeared before him. It quickly
A bear.
grew, and the man realized it was a pigeon flying
Oh.
at his eye level. The bird didn't pivot and hit Brealey's helmet,
What? Yo. What is going through this bird's head?
breaking the visor and even the man's glasses. The pigeon died instantly, and the driver
What is the pigeon doing?
went unconscious. However, he wasn't lucky enough to fall off the bike immediately. Miraculously, Brealey stayed seated. Moreover, he inadvertently hit the gas pedal. On a straightaway section of the road, Matthew's high-speed bike developed a staggering 225 kilometers per
What? 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 He fell unconscious and his bike started going 200 miles per hour? Bro.
hour. Then, a mighty oak stood in its way. The Suzuki
Oh
hit the
my
tree,
gosh.
shattering into tiny pieces, and
Oh
Brealey was
my
catapulted forward
gosh.
out of his seat to a distance of 180 meters. It's hard to say that he got lucky since he sustained 2 skull fractures with a brain hemorrhage, as well as fractures of a leg, an
Oh
arm,
my
and ribs.
gosh.
Matthew Brealey spent around 10 weeks in the hospital. The man even had to relearn
Is he in a
how
coma?
to walk, but he did it all for his wife, who was pregnant
W.
at the time of the crash. After a long and difficult
Let's
rehabilitation
get it.
period, Matthew returned to normal. But to this day,
Let's go.
he still can't believe such a bizarre crash happened to him. The police say
Well,
that
that's so
birds
unlucky.
crashing into motorcyclists is far from being a rare thing. Sadly, it's also impossible to protect yourself from it. But what if something much larger than a pigeon is flying towards you?
Like a bear.
In 2012, James Crawford was driving his van along a New Jersey motorway. At 7:54 a.m., he reached exit 8 in Mercer County. Suddenly, Crawford noticed a strange, long
Exit 8.
shadow. And the very next second, the ceiling of his van was torn off like a can lid. The entire passenger side of the vehicle turned into a heap of tin scrap. As it turned out, on the wayside, a building crew was hauling a giant metal beam. Due to unknown reasons, the beam critically tilted to the side and ended up over the roadway. Meanwhile, a man stopped by the damaged van. What he saw made his blood run cold. There was no chance of a person surviving something like that. Yet suddenly, James Crawford started climbing out from under the debris. The biggest mystery isn't even how he survived. It's how he managed to get away with only a few cuts and a broken thumb. The very next day, James was able to go back to work. The case was ruled to be an accident, since it looked like the beam had been moved by a strong gust of wind. The crash that happened to Crawford was a
Bro, that's crazy. And that's why you gotta be on your tiptoes, stay on your P's and Q's. Whenever you driving, bro, because you gotta be defensive driving. Stay on your P's and Q's, stay on 10 toes, 10 fingers, 20 them all.
simple coincidence.
You
However,
know what I'm saying?
they don't always end quite as well as that. A Texan, Truman Duncan, was working as a switchman at a railway station in June 2006. One day,
First of all, 2006. Second of all, that's when I was born, June.
he hopped onto a train car, moving to a repair dock to accompany him. Duncan had done this 100 times before. This time, he slipped and fell right onto the tracks.
Oh,
The man
no.
got on his feet
Oh.
and ran with all his might, but failed to outrun the
Oh my gosh, wait. This is literally what I'm doing. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. Alright. So this is the train track. I'm running, and there's a train behind me. Whoa! I'm literally going like this. And I'm diving to the side. Like, I'm running and I'm just diving out the way. Not gonna keep running. Now. Train's probably going fast, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
train. He fell again, and this time,
Oh,
both
no.
his legs got under the iron wheels of the multi-ton
Oh
train.
no.
In a minute, Duncan regained consciousness after the sudden shock and called the rescuers himself.
Got ran over by the rail doors. I need 911. I think I'm cutting too. Okay. You need to hurry up now.
What the rescue squad saw upon arrival made them unable to speak. Both of Duncan's legs were entirely cut off, but not only did he survive, he was fully conscious.
Wait, the train's still
Almost-
there?
An hour passed before the rescuers managed to get the man out and take him to the hospital. The paramedics
Wait, how is the
assessed
train still
Duncan's
there?
survival odds at 1 to a million.
1
the
to a
following
million.
3 weeks, he was in a coma and had 20 surgeries. Yet Duncan's lust for life defeated even death. However, 31-year-old Casey Wagner fooled it twice in one day. Truth be told, he kept playing with death constantly, since he was a rodeo bullfighter by profession. Yet, on October 26, 2013, he was performing with well-steered iron bulls at an off-road race in the Texas town of St. Joe. The weather started deteriorating during the day when dark storm clouds covered the sky and it started raining. Wagner hid under one of the small trees, hoping to stay dry. Suddenly, he saw sparks coming out of the tree trunk, and then a flash of blinding light knocked
You got
him
struck.
to the ground. Before Casey had the time to fall and understand what was happening, another flash came.
Wait, you got
It
struck
was an
again?
absolute shock since, in just a few seconds, Wagner was hit by lightning twice. A nurse who had seen it all with her own eyes ran up to him. The man appeared to be dying. However, when the ambulance came, he was still conscious.
Wow.
An in-depth examination showed the charge had passed through the man's entire body from his right leg to his left hand, and it didn't cause any damage. Casey Wagner
What?
felt some muscle pain, shortness of breath, and strange pins and needles for a few days. And that was it. Research shows that the odds of being hit by lightning in a year in the US are 1 to 750,000.
Okay. Does that seem like a lot, though? Like, okay, what is the population of the U.S.? Population of U.S. What? 334.9 million. So that means approximately, like, what, 8 people a year get struck? Wait, no. Like, 80 people. Like, bro, like, 70... like 60, like 50 people a year, bro. That's like 50 people a year get struck. Right? And he got struck twice?
Yet, what are the odds of being hit by it twice in a row and remaining completely fine? However, each of us is much more likely to get into another potentially deadly situation, a car crash. Every year, around 1.2 million people die in road accidents.
Wow! Oh my gosh. Y'all hear that? 1.2 million people a year die from car crashes? Bro, that's crazy. That's insane. That's a lot. That's why y'all gotta stay safe when you're driving, bro. Especially in the
and 50 more
winter.
million people are injured. So, what's the
Oh my gosh, wait. So one out of every 50 car crashes is a death?
chance of surviving if you get in trouble on the road? On July
GTA?
19th, 2013, 22-year-old U.S. student Morgan Lake finished her classes and
what'd
embarked
he
on
say?
a chance of surviving if you get in trouble on the road. On July 19th, 2013, 22-year-old U.S. student Morgan Lake finished her classes, and embarked on a long journey to see her family. At around 8:30 in the evening, with her peripheral vision, she saw bright headlights from behind and looked in the rearview mirror. A chill ran down Morgan's spine as an 18-wheeler truck was hurtling toward her at full speed.
Oh my gosh, this happened to me once. But luckily I was on my P's and Q's, my 10 toes, my 10 fingers, my 20 of them all. And I got in the other lane. And then the semi just right by me. So thank gosh I was paying attention. Because, bro, I could have low-key got bam, just absolutely bang from the back. Pause.
It was steered by a Canadian man named Gabor Labos, who violated at least 4 traffic regulations in that second and didn't notice the drivers ahead of him.
What?
Next
How?
moment, he hit Morgan's car by pushing it right into the barrier. Then the car rolled back to the highway, but the truck slammed into it again. Morgan's car was flung a meter up into the air and ended up on a concrete wall over the water. All of this happened on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge in literal seconds. And then time stopped for Morgan entirely, since her car fell into the water and started sinking.
Whoa! Whoa! So it got hit, it got flipped, it fell, and it fell in the water, and now it's sinking. Good luck.
Morgan was thrashing in panic in her flooded car. Yet suddenly, the girl thought she wasn't gonna die right then and there. She managed to pull herself together, unbuckle her seatbelt,
gosh.
and climb out through the broken window.
Yes, sir! Stay
before running
strong,
out of
queen!
oxygen.
Stay
The girl
strong,
miraculously
queen.
managed
Real
to reach
footage?
the bridge's stone mound
Oh
and
my
stayed there
gosh. Stay strong, queen.
till morning, when she got rescued. An
Till
even
morning?
greater miracle
How
was
long
that
did it
Morgan
take?
Lake made it out of that situation with only bruises. The car that had been in front of hers stayed on the bridge, and none of its passengers were hurt. Gabor Lavos, the truck driver, claimed guilty and was prosecuted. As they say,
What's that?
all's well that ends well. Sometimes, however, it's
The Golden Gate Bridge is scary. The Golden... Jeez. Ah! The Golden Gate Bridge.
hard to understand how a good evening is even possible. In my opinion, the craziest story of this video happened in 1984.
Oh my
to
gosh. 1984. Bro, I ain't gonna lie.
In my opinion, the
Wow. Tell me, 1984 in this forest at night?
craziest
Couldn't
story
pay
of
me to go
this
here.
video happened in 1984 to Forthman Murph. At the time, he was already 74 years old, 10 of which he dedicated to the hard and dangerous business of logging. On that May day, he took his chainsaw again and got to work. Murph was sawing a large, sturdy tree after calculating where it would fall and where it would be safe to stand. So the lumberjack made the last cut, and the tree started falling.
Oh my gosh. Please don't tell me it's gonna fall on him.
Suddenly, it pulled a high-hanging branch along. The branch hit Murph and kicked him into a ditch. Already on the ground, the man was watching the horrible domino effect of the trees felling each other until one of them landed on his limb.
my god.
Murph realized his limb was smashed before he went unconscious for a bit. When the man came
Oh my.
around, he immediately realized that his broken leg
You have to cut your leg off?
was the least of his problems. As it turned out, after he lost
Wait, what?
consciousness, his neck landed on the chainsaw that was still working. Just imagine this terrifying
And he
scene.
survived?
Surprisingly, this only angered Murph. He kicked the chainsaw aside and drove
Yeah!
himself to the nearest dwelling with a broken leg and a critical neck injury. He had to wait another
Whoa.
hour to finally
How'd he
arrive
get the tree off his
at the
leg?
hospital. There, the surgeons
Damn.
literally sewed his head back on, as it was only supported by the spine. How do you survive
He's
after
strong.
something like
That dude's
that?
up.
It's
Strong
hard to
man.
even imagine. However, Forthman Murph managed to do so much more than just survive. He completely regained his health, lived to be 92 years old, and always made fun of his crazy story. Life
92
itself
is crazy. Hey, shout out Echoes W video. If you want me to react to more Echoes, let me know. Like, sub if you made it this far. Appreciate all y'all that tuned in. And yeah, we're gonna be more consistent. You know what I'm saying? Peace.